Welcome to another episode of Will It Work? I'm Kevin. This is where we test out my game systems and make sure they're still functional. I've been storing a lot of these for about 30 years, and it's some of the consoles themselves are almost 50 years old. So kind of going through them. So far I've probably lost about 4 consoles, I think, total that are non-functional, maybe 5. So not too bad, considering we've gone through about 100 consoles out of the collection so far. This is the Gamecom. This was a competitor of the Game Boy that was released by Tiger. It was okay. It was a decent system, right? But it was probably like too late. Like, it was a black and white system when things were about to go to color, or right when they were going color, and it had some interesting ideas to go with it, but it probably just didn't sell. It wasn't a Game Boy, but they did try to do some interesting stuff. I will show you. First, let's take a look at the base system. See what's in this box. Kind of in there. Come on. Okay. So it didn't come with Duke Nukem 3D. It's just in there. It came with this Lights Out game, which is probably in the Duke Nukem 3D case. We have the instruction manual. This is probably some advertisement of it did allow you to get on the internet in a text-based kind of way. Batman, Sonic, Duke Nukem, Jurassic Park, Arcade Hits, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Mortal Kombat, Indy 500, NBA Hang Time, Madden Football, Fighters Megamix, Tiger Casino, something called Henry, Quiz Whiz, and some additional stuff, including you can get their own modem, because that's how you would connect to the internet versus their own. Had some dial-up. If you can get dial-up today, it probably would still work. So the unit itself is fairly large, but the Game Boy maybe being, the Game Boy brick was pretty big in and of itself. We've looked at it in the past. This is a little bit ungainly as well, but it's okay. I mean, it's not heavy or anything. Now this screen is a touch screen, so there is a stylus, and this is before touch screen for Game Boy, as far as I recall. This is a capacitive touch it's basically pressure, right? So you're pushing on it in order to make a contact between 2 points, and there's little dots here that probably don't come in too well on the camera, but you can sort of see where you touch is very limited. It's you're not going to be drawing and things with this. It's pretty standard. So you had 4 buttons, which is nice over the 2. You had a pretty crappy D-pad of sorts, menu, sound, and pause options, and on-off. In terms of batteries, why do I have 1 battery in here? Good on you, Duracell, for not leaking after all this time. It's Duracell Ultra. It's even got one of those old battery charger things, or battery testers, chargers. And it's definitely dead. Kind of worked though. It's kind of cool. So let's throw some batteries in it. So I didn't hate this system or anything. It had some games. It did okay, for what it was. It was fairly inexpensive at the time. I think it was $50 or something. But it does have a watch battery too, which is probably also dead. But let's see. Data found. Press A to keep. Well, let's keep our data. Try to get you a non-glare view here. Yeah, so you could do cartridge, phone book, calendar, calculator, high score, and then there was a built-in solitaire. So, you know, we can do the phone book. It's kind of silly. There's also this is for like the modem out here on the back. This is the little piece of plastic that goes in there. Kind of slides in and out. Doesn't really snap into place. You have a volume and a contrast. Headphone jack. Oh yeah, and you can take 2 cartridges at once. So we have arcade classics, and then we also have the internet cartridge in here. We certainly aren't going to use the internet cartridge right now. So we'll go ahead and try Duke Nukem. Okay, and let's see here. I'm going to shut off the top screen, or the top camera light, and then see if we can get some kind of... It's hard with the glare. It's always hard with the glare with these things. I guess it was probably better with the top light. We'll just try and get a good angle here. So, how the heck do we play one of the games? That's the question. Menu? Well, that's the main menu. Oh, cartridge. Duh. Okay. So we got Arcade Classics and Duke Nukem. Let's take a look at both. Williams Arcade Classics. We have Joust, Defender 2, Sinistar, Robotron. Let's try Sinistar. Is it a port, or is it, you know, did they make this specifically for GameCom? Probably. It's kind of crazy that they did. So the sound on this is digital, so it's pretty good, like, for what it is. Frame rate's pretty awful, though. Like, it's got this kind of shadowy thing going on. Alright, I'm not going to keep playing this game, but let's exit. Looks like I've got some screen lines here at the bottom. It may have gotten old on us. Let's exit. Go back to cartridge. Duke Nukem. Sorry, it's hard to play this and see the screen. So working on it. Working on it. At one time, because this thing's called the GameCom, Tiger actually owned the domain game.com. And I think they eventually got rid of it or sold it or something. You know, so it's supposed to be a first-person shooter of sorts, I guess. shotgun. How do I get through these doors? Kick the door in with my boot. Alright. Alright, anyway, you get the idea. So, Tiger Gamecom. No, by no means great. Holding in the on-off button does nothing. Well, I know another way to turn it off. That's to pop the batteries out. For a while there, these were pretty cheap. You could get them very inexpensively as they liquidated stock. And they had some games that were released for it that were a little bit harder to get a hold of at the end there because they were just not that many of them made, or they didn't come out in time or something. I have a few. I'll show you what they look like. So we have that Henry game. You know, that's still sealed in the space plastic. As I like to call it. We have the crushed Duke Nukem box. I don't know why all my boxes end up getting crushed. Even when they're like all stored nice. It must just be like the humidity or something, just eventually. I mean, this one looks like it's definitely been stomped on, but humidity must just like ravage the boxes after a time and make them just kind of fall apart. It's unfortunate. So, Duke Nukem 3D. And we have the Williams Arcade Classics box. With a copy of just Centipede for the Gamecom. It's kind of a weird, you know, just buy Centipede. You know, it's not a big draw. Here's a internet that's unopened package. You needed the modem, and it would get you. You could go on the web and like some text version of the web, but you could send emails and stuff. It was really tedious, and it didn't give you anything like they didn't hook you into like some Tiger World or anything like that. It just got you on a text-based internet. Not great, but I guess it was something. Here's a copy of Resident Evil 2, and that used a kind of it was kind of a side-scrolling. See if I can get a better focus there. A side-scrolling kind of game. You know, pick your inventory and work through with the zombies and everything, but unopened. So nothing there. And I have a copy of Jeopardy for the Gamecom, also unopened. And so, you know, they had a few games. It didn't last very long. They did have a whole commercial, you know, ad campaign and everything to try and drum up interest in it. And they had a lot of high-profile games, but it wasn't Nintendo. People weren't interested in another black and white system, even though, you know, they sort of told you that it could get on the internet, and it was fairly inexpensive for what it was. It wasn't enough. Gamecom was not a success. It was a failure. But there you go. You know, a little bit about the Tiger history there, and the Gamecom. Not great. Mine's kind of rough. The screen seems like it's got some blur at the bottom, but it does still function, so I'll keep it. Maybe if I ever see one that's cheap, unit only or something, I'll pick it up to replace the screen, but who knows. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.